Hey guys, Mike from Fire and Brilliance, and in this video, we're going to be talking about EyeClean gemstones. And you're going to be learning about 3 items in this specific video. If you end up staying to the end of this short video, we're going to give you a special treat and show you an image of a lab-grown gemstone with inclusions that are not EyeClean. So I'm gonna get right into it for you. The first item, what does it mean to say that a gemstone is EyeClean? In order to understand what an EyeClean gemstone is, you have to also understand what an inclusion is. And all an inclusion is an imperfection or impurity inside or outside of a gemstone, making it obvious when you see it with the naked eye. Now, sometimes you may not be able to see it, and sometimes you may be able to see it. If you cannot see it with the naked eye, by definition, that is an EyeClean gemstone. If you can see it with a naked eye, then basically it is not EyeClean. Now, does that mean that all EyeClean gemstones do not have impurities or imperfections? No, that is not true. There are many EyeClean gemstones that still have inclusions, but the only way to see it is through a loupe or a microscope. But the whole definition of an EyeClean gemstone is if whether or not you can see it with your naked eye, meaning can you see the inclusions, the imperfections, and the impurities with your own eye. Point number 2, what do most people prefer? Do people prefer an EyeClean gemstone or a gemstone that is not EyeClean? Well, you probably guessed it. Most people do prefer EyeClean gemstones. Most people prefer a gemstone that is pure. When they look through it, they do not see an imperfection, impurity, or inclusion. What they want to see, or at least most people anyway, want to see a clear stone, meaning they want to see a gemstone that is of high clarity, low inclusions, less imperfections, and therefore EyeClean. And the reason why most people want to see EyeClean gemstones is because of the fact that with the naked eye, it just looks more pure, it looks more brilliant, and it looks much more pleasant. However, if you've been following our channel for a long time, then you may already know that we do not sway one side or another. There are people out there that do love included gemstones. Yes, that is the truth. And the reason being is because especially for natural gemstones that's created in Earth, the Earth's core, that took millions of years to create, basically, many people like the fact that these gemstones came out of Earth being created that way and how it's supposed to look, basically by its natural state. So for those specific people, they do prefer gemstones that have inclusions. There's no right or wrong answer. You probably heard about that 1,000 times here at Fire and Brilliance. At the end of the day, it's really up to you as to what you like. But realistically, most people do prefer EyeClean gemstones with less inclusions, less impurities, and less imperfections. The third item that I want to go over here, why is it that most lab-grown gemstones are EyeClean versus natural gemstones that are not? Does that necessarily mean that natural gemstones do not come in high clarity grades? No, that's absolutely untrue. Of course, there are high clarity grade natural gemstones, but most gemstones that come out of the Earth's core or come out of the ground basically are included. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's actually created naturally. There's a lot of chaos, the environment is chaotic, and therefore a gemstone or a rock that is created many times will have impurities, inclusions, and imperfections. Whereas a lab-grown gemstone is created in a lab, and what that means is that there are predetermined conditions and a state of environment that is controlled by the laboratory. And therefore, if you are trying to create an EyeClean gemstone, then the control of that lab is going to ensure that most of the output of the gemstones will be of high clarity, low inclusion, or in other words, EyeClean. Now, if you stay to the end of this short video, as I had promised you, I'm going to go ahead and show you an image of this lab-grown gemstone with inclusions. Now, are there lab-grown gemstones with inclusions? The answer is yes. Now, if you are into green emeralds, and you may already know, green emeralds is one of the most heavily included gemstones on Earth, whether it's a lab-grown or not, okay? So, as a matter of fact, the Gemological Institute of America classifies emeralds as a type 3 stone, which means they are almost always included. It is very common to have liquid inclusions filling cavities in emeralds. That said, the lab-grown green emerald, when created in a lab, goes through a flux process. Through this flux process, the elements that make emeralds are dissolved in a heated solution, and because of this process, there is a flux inclusion. Okay, so here is an image of what that process will create in terms of emerald inclusions, okay, in a lab created form. Isn't that just beautiful in how it looks? When you ask the question, are all lab-grown gemstones EyeClean? The answer is no, but most are EyeClean. And even although green emeralds lab-grown may have inclusions, you best bet that it has way less inclusions than the natural form. And if you never had a chance to take a look at a natural green emerald versus a lab-grown green emerald, it's night and day. Of course, there are going to be beautiful natural gemstones with lower impurities, and those are obviously very, very, very expensive because they're so rare. But if you're going to compare just the common green emerald that is heavily included versus the lab-grown version, the lab-grown version has much less inclusions and therefore much more EyeClean, although it does have inclusions at the end of the day. All right, so which one do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer EyeClean gemstones or gemstones that are not EyeClean? Leave it in the comment section below. If you want to learn more in depth about this subject, I made a video about 4 years ago, a 4-part series of whether or not does size matter. On the second episode is basically talking about carats versus clarity, okay? So if you want to learn more about the inclusions, go ahead and click here.